What are the bones of one god doing sealed in the temple of another?
Do not play coy with a god, Watcher. I know you have seen his death. I feel it whenever a forgotten thing is taken from me. Obsidian did not deserve to die here. This place, it was the least I could do to give his remains some privacy.
What do you mean the least you can do? Also, I do wonder if the Temple of Abaddon is not here for some other purpose. Because they've been showing up more and more. Especially once we drove the Ondra temple out in Stalwart, the Abaddon people came sniffing about.
The least I could do for ending his life.
Light drains from your surroundings. The kelp forest becomes a corpse of black tendrils, stark and twisted as regret.
I called the moon down to me, Ioni brother. It was against his wishes. He would not listen to reason, would not listen to me. In his madness, he splintered the moon. But it was not enough. The greatest of the fragments still fell toward that which he would protect. In the end, he took position where it would fall, and absorbed the impact himself.
Oh, there was a third moon in the beginning. I thought Belafa and Caudla were the moons, but there were a third.
Ioni brother is their smaller sibling, tiny next to them.
Small enough that the world would survive its impact. But why the temple? Why the secrecy?
That time has been forgotten now, and so his death belongs to me. Everything he was before the impact.
Oh, so you like taking on his aspect? And that's why you make the eyeless. They look like Abaddon's creations, but it's actually Ondra. And she's making them like he would, because she has taken on his responsibilities, as it were. But you slew another god. Surely the other gods know this. Surely Abaddon must know. I mean, the gods don't really die, do they? It's just their avatars that die? So Abaddon should be alive, like in spirit. Current surges through the kelp bed, pushing each plant sideways like saplings in a hurricane, and propelling you backward amidst a torrent of wayward fish.
No! He cannot know! He must never know! Understand, he was not always as he is now. His body was not all he left behind. He was devoted to progress and industry from the beginning. But so too was he devoted to preservation. In those times he would let nothing go. Nothing could be forgotten. His will was iron long before his body.
What was it he was trying to preserve?
Time has finished much of what I started. I cannot tell you that, mortal, for fear of undoing all its costly work.
Preservation! So that is why he went so far to oppose you.
We agreed long ago, all of us, not to alter the course of Kith's civilization. Not directly. Not unless there were no other choice. But in this matter, there was no other choice. He understood that as well as anyone. It was for duty that he opposed it. I would have stopped it if I could, but by then it was too late.
You make it sound as though you were the sane one.
The other gods knew what had to be done, but they lacked the will to go through with it. Even gods have their attachments. To erase all knowledge of such a grand thing required unthinkable devastation. The Eastern Reach, Deadfire. Mine was the only solution. When I called down Ioni brother, they remained silent. Even Abaddon. He knew it was for the best. But he tried to stop it all the same. Perhaps deep down I knew he would. I should have expected it. I could have stopped it.
I want to ask you about something else.
You may ask.
What does it matter if something is remembered or forgotten? It's in the past in either case.
Memories are the spirits of the past. You of all people should know their sway on the present, Watcher.
Perhaps more than I care to admit.
Mortals measure the worth of their lives in memory. Who will remember me? How long until I am forgotten? Memory governs every thought, informs every choice. It can fuel passion, understanding, love, or it can create obsession, madness. You have seen it plague many souls in your travels.
True.
Consider the old Watcher who inherited unspeakable crimes from birth. Or the Glonfathen boy for whom an old medallion was worth more than all the fruits of his labors. Or the former Crucible Knight whose political embarrassment embittered him against the organization whose ideals he treasured above all. Or the villager whose guilt led him down into a temple in search of the priests he condemned with his silence. They could be free from their burdens, if only they could forget.
If only it were so easy.
Then you understand the power of an empty slate.
The light filtering down from the surface seems to focus on Maneha.
You cast your troubling memories aside when you had the opportunity, and you have found the peace you sought.
It's funny. I remember feeling bad, but I don't remember why. It's like having scars for wounds you don't remember. As long as they don't reopen one day, I can live with that.
The source of those wounds is long gone. The memory was all that could do you harm.
There was value in the memory, despite the harm.
Even when problems have run their course, memory can be the stone that sinks you into the abyss.
Oh, if I was a philosopher, I could have argued, maybe even convinced her. Convince a god, just like that. That would have been pretty neat. I'm still not sure I agree, but no matter.
Your past has not overwhelmed you yet. Wait. Was there something else, mortal?
Why did you pull down Ione Braffer?
The great conundrum of a god is how close to become with your subjects. Too far and they lose hope. Too close and your own judgment fails. Civilizations are meant to ebb and flow. Allow them to persist for too long in power or knowledge, and you invite catastrophe. There was a time when we let our sympathies get the better of us. When memories were allowed to persist that should have been washed away. The other gods could not be moved to act. I did what had to be done without them.
You're talking about the Engwithan.
I speak of what is forgotten. I failed that day, but my purpose was achieved in the end.
That was the race or civilization that Theos, the main nemesis, was a part of, if you don't remember. They had a lot of memories and a lot of power back in the day.
I will not dredge up the memory to satisfy idle curiosity.
Or the isle is yours.
What the world casts aside, I take into my care. A thing may be forgotten, but it is never alone as long as I am here.
Also, maybe they were creations of Abaddon and she just took them over?
They were lost children, abandoned, fixed on a purpose that no longer had meaning. I took them in, gave them new purpose. I did not create them, but yes, they are mine.
They are Abaddon's. I saw them forged.
They were his once, I won't deny it. He created them as assistants to carry out his work on Eora. But he has long been the overseer of progress in the world. Leaving things behind has always been his way. I allow him to leave his past in my care, so that it does not hold him back.
You and Abaddon have a unique connection then.
I suppose we do. But then, the gods have always been able to accomplish far greater things when working together.
Nearby, you see a shark pass through a school of fish. The fish scatter, evading the predator. Can we talk about the Isles a bit more?
Speak your mind.
You haven't given me the whole truth about the Isles, have you?
Careful what you accuse a god of, mortal.
The water around you is suddenly icy. You can feel it sap the heat from your veins. Abaddon didn't abandon those creatures. You made him forget them. Otherwise he might remember how he died.
And what if I did, mortal? It does him no harm to forget. On the contrary, it lifts a burden. If Abaddon remembered, it would threaten the harmony between the gods.
You're just selfish. Saying it like it's you're doing this good thing. You're just hiding.
It was not so long ago that conflict between us led to disaster in your world, and the death of one of our number. Memory is but an image we create to make sense of the present. It carries no truth or meaning but what we ascribe. A slight alteration to it is a small price to pay for peace.
It's wrong to deceive him. I expected better from a god.
Memory deceives. It distorts. It reimagines. This is no different. The peace between the gods is already fragile. It will not withstand another shock. You may ask.
You say on one hand you had to call down Ionibrafer, yet on the other that you would have stopped it for Abaddon.
The death of a god is a calamity. You are living in the aftermath of one such death. Surely you can understand.
You have said that sympathy can't get in the way. What about yours for Abaddon?
He deserved better. Of all the other gods, he was the only one who acted, who held to his convictions.
The goddess of relentlessness must have appreciated such a quality.
Yes. I admired him for that.
Ooh! But it's more than that. You loved him. The pull and push of the current become long and heavy like a sigh.
Whatever he was to me, it was not meant to last. Always our duty is to Eora first. I knew he opposed what I intended, that he would wish to preserve what I meant to destroy. I knew it would cause a rift that might never be mended, but I never imagined he'd go so far. I never imagined it would mean I would never know him, as I once did.
If he doesn't remember dying, why not begin again with him?
Because it might cause him to remember. No, mortal. Better that we should exist as we are now. What happened once must never happen again. Bad enough that I am cursed to remember it. You may ask.
I need you to call off the eyeless.
On the contrary, mortal, their work must continue. Far too much was uncovered while they lay dormant.
They draw attention to the very things you wish hidden. In my dreams, I have seen them swarming over the Deerwood.
Those who know too much of the White Forge will be washed clean from Eora, and then the eyeless shall rest once more.
But this isn't some lone tribe of dwarves. The Forge sees visitors from all over the world now. The Isles will tear the Deerwood apart. It will never be forgotten. The sea life around you stirs back and forth, agitated, restless.
Even if it is as you say, there is nothing that can be done. The eyeless do not think for themselves. They have only the purpose that is given to them. They do not stop until the purpose is fulfilled. They will not change course now for me or anyone. I am sorry.
Kyoto said they could be called off.
Only if those they pursue are no longer a threat. The raid Sarens were stopped before they could take the White Forge. In your case, Watcher, you are well beyond that now. And if what you say is true, then the Deerwood is as well.
This was your doing. You must intervene.
The interventions of gods seldom work out in anyone's favor. Our touch is too heavy. The world crumbles beneath it. It is why we so often enlist the help of mortals. They execute our wishes with greater care. I have done far too much already.
Well, if you won't stop them, then I will.
Your determination is commendable, but the eyeless number in the thousands. You will need more than strength or luck.
The help of a god would be most welcome.
I will give you what aid I can. I bade the eyeless to remain hidden when at rest. They are gathered in the hollow of a great rock, splintered from Ione Brother. It lies in a flooded crater known as Kairon's Scar. Know, too, that they were built to answer the call of their master's hammer. When they hear it strike, they come to its aid.
Oh, this piece of metal that I got, is that a part of the hammer?
If you were to take that piece of his hammer from here and reshape it in Abaddon's forge into a likeness of the original, you might be able to call them to you. But destroying them would be another matter. I know of one way, but only from the center of the Lion's Den. Only with their master's hammer in your service. If you can do all this, if you can reshape what remains of Abaddon's hammer and bring it inside their lair, I can instruct you there on what you would need to do.
I will do what I can. Let's not press her.
And I will see you through when the time comes. You may ask.
I will remake the hammer in the White Forge and stop the eyeless.
If you do not, be assured, they will come for you as they did for the Pargrunen.
An uneasy turbulence disturbs the calm like an unwelcome thought.
Careful as you approach the lake. When I claimed the eyeless, I made sure they would not be discovered while they slept. Many of my most devoted followers stand watch there. They will not allow you near. And there is something far worse. Something more fearsome and dangerous than any eyeless. Let us hope you do not attract its attention.
It's a dragon! Didn't we see that in the crafting menu? There's gonna be a dragon in Scar, something, what was the name? Whatever it was. More dangerous? You can't just add that in there casually. In place of an answer, a sudden surge in the current from beneath sends you hurtling upwards. The surface above you approaches fast, shifting and glimmering like quicksilver. You emerge soaking wet on the stone floor of the reliquary, gasping for breaths as if you'd been holding it for hours. Jesus! We got our work cut out for us, guys! We gotta get the the hammer reforged, and then get to the Scar, and make our way in there. Whew, and we also got the, what's it called? The, this one? Movgirechien. To check out what the Consulhout's friends or whatever want with me. The assassin wanted me there. However, that is going to be a tale for another day. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and leave a comment below. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time.